Hey guys, this is Chubbs, and this is a long-awaited, long-overdue tutorial series, but I didn't want to put it off any longer, so here it goes. So this is going to be covering the ZDoom ACS scripting language, and this is something I feel is very important because it allows you to really extend your Doom maps and make them do things that you never could do before with the vanilla Doom limitations. So today what I'm going to do is just sort of show you like what the basic format or structure of a script looks like, and then we're going to write a very basic script that prints a message on the screen and then opens a door. So first of all, I just want to show you this very basic map that I've made. This is going to be like our little test environment. So you have the starting room here, and then there's the player start, and then you're facing a switch. And this switch doesn't have any line actions attached to it currently. And then here's a door. This door also doesn't have any line actions. And then this door just leads into another just very basic square room. So this switch is what's going to be the script executor. So when you flip the switch, a message will pop up on your screen, and then this door will open so that you can pass over into this room. So one thing I do want to point out before we get any further into this is that whenever you're writing scripts, you have to be using a ZDoom format, like the ZDoom in hexen format, UDMF format, skulltag format also works. Really, a UDMF format is the best one because it's the one that's most flexible. It gives you the most options. But I just want to make that clear because if you try and make a vanilla Doom map, then scripts will not be available. You will not be able to use them. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's start to write a basic script. So in order to pull up the script editor, all you have to do is go up here to the upper left hand corner and click this icon. It looks sort of like a piece of paper or something, and the script editor will pop up. Now this panel over here on the left is really not going to be anything we're ever going to use. So if you want to, you can close it or hide it by clicking this little bar right here in the middle, and that'll just sort of free up some space and get that out of the way. So whenever you start writing scripts, you'll always want to include this line here at the very top. The pound sign, the word include, space, and then inside parentheses, zcommon.acs. And you don't have to understand how exactly this works, but just know that without this line, you will really not be able to do much of anything. This is very important in order to be able to use the different ACS features and to be able to pretty much interact with your map and make things happen. So this line has to be there. So really, in other words, if you ever start a brand new map and you know that that map is going to have scripts in it, go ahead and just pop open the script editor and type this line at the top and get that out of the way. So after that line is up there, you can press enter a couple times and we will start to write the very first script. So whenever you start a script, it will always begin with the word script and then space and then the number of the script, which is a number that you haven't yet used. So in our case, we'll just use 1, space, and then the type of the script. And this can be more advanced, so I won't get too deep into this, but this pretty much determines when the script runs and what information is passed to this script. So you can have a script that's an enter script, and this script runs like whenever the player enters the level. Another one that's very similar is open, whenever a map is opened. I can't recall the exact differences between those two, but basically, like if you want a script that just runs as soon as the map starts, you can do open or enter, and that'll get the job done. I think there's also respawn. Yeah, there's a respawn script, like in a multiplayer match, for example, whenever a player respawns, then this script would run. But the one that we're going to use is a void script. And this pretty much means that this script has to be executed somewhere. It doesn't run when the map starts, but whenever it is executed, the word void means that this script is not, it's not taking in any information. It's just the script is just going to be called, and then it's just going to run and do whatever's inside it. It's not going to react to any information. And the information part is the part that's kind of more advanced. That's something that I'll just kind of reserve for a later tutorial. But just know that that's sort of how it works, that you can eventually pass information to scripts and then have them react differently depending on what that information is. So in our case, again, we're just going to go with void, which means it's not going to take in anything. So you'll just have a pair of parentheses and then the word void inside, just like that. Next, you'll want to always have a pair of braces immediately after the script name. And then if you press enter, it should automatically sort of give you a space in between those braces and then indent over. White space is really important for programming or scripting or really anything like that, because it allows your code to be more readable. If it didn't indent it and we had everything over here, then it would just all kind of flow together and just bleed together, and it would be really hard to read. Whenever you have code, just try and indent it. You'll see this as we go along and write the scripts here, and it just it helps make it more readable. But basically, whatever's inside these braces is what's going to happen whenever this script is called by that switch. And you can call this script in a number of different ways too. We could tie this to a walkover line. You could tie it to a monster whenever the monster is killed. You could tie it to a pickup whenever the pickup is collected. You can execute this script in a large number of ways. You could even execute this script from another script. So there are a whole bunch of different ways to do it. But like I said at the very beginning of the video, what this script in particular is going to do is whenever this switch is flipped, we're going to have a message come up on the screen, and then we're going to open this door right here. And on that subject, I just remembered that I forgot to give our door a sector tag. That's going to come in handy. So let's go ahead and go into sector mode and give this door a tag of 1, because I've not used any tags, and just get that part out of the way so I won't forget it here later. Alright, so first order of business is to make the script print a message on the screen. And before we type that, what I want to do is just introduce you guys to comments. Comments are very useful because they allow you to tell not only other people but even yourself what your scripts are doing. Now you don't need to comment like crazy, especially if the code is obvious. But comments, they help make your scripts more readable and just help make it more clear what's going on, because sometimes the code itself can sort of look alien, and without looking at it really closely and deciphering it, it can be tough to tell what it's doing. And comments are just like plain English ways of saying what the script's doing. So an example of a comment here is we can do 2 forward dashes like that, and this signals the beginning of a comment. And then we could just type print message on screen. So this is not going to change the way that the script behaves in any way. This is just like a reminder to us to make it more clear what's going to happen. So let's go ahead and go below that, and this is where we're going to do the actual print code. So there are many different ways to print messages on the screen, and I'm just going to show you a few of those. We'll go over here to the ZDoom Wiki, and let's minimize the script editor window. This is a very important resource for scripting. It's zdoom.org/wiki. I highly recommend bookmarking this page, or at the very least remembering this page, because this is going to be your go-to reference for like everything related to ACS. So to go to all the different built-in functions, you can go over here to this link here that says ACS functions, and then there's a specific category related to what we're after, and that is the display category. So these are like the different functions that are built in that will display things on the screen. So for our example, we're going to use print. This is a really basic one. You can also do HUD message. This gives you more control over what's printed. This allows you to determine where it's positioned on the screen, how long it stays there, all that stuff. It's a whole lot more advanced. Print is just really basic. It just prints it right there in the center of the screen, and it stays just for a set amount of time. So you don't really have fine control over it, but it'll suffice just for our little example here. So let's go back to our script editor and let's do the print code. So we'll type the word print in all caps and then go ahead and do 2 parentheses like this, and really you'll notice that as you type it will automatically put 2 parentheses there for you. And inside the parentheses you have a type and then a colon and then an expression. This is also a little bit more advanced, so you don't need to know exactly what's going on here, but the type is like the type of information you want to be printed. The colon is just there to separate it from the expression, and then the expression is the information that's printed. So in our case here, since we're going to be printing just a very basic message, we're going to use a string. A string is just like a collection of letters or characters, and so in that case we're going to type the word or the letter S for string and then colon, and then here's where we type the expression. Like I said, the expression is like the information that's printed. So in our case, since it's a string, we're going to have to put it inside 2 quotations. And let's see, for the message we'll just type a door opened. Let's just type that. A door opened. You can put a period there too. And then at the very end of this line here, we're going to put a semicolon. This is really important here, the semicolon, because if you don't have it and you try and compile this script, you're going to get an error. At the end of almost every single function call and most of your lines of code, you're going to want to have the semicolon. Now, you won't always have semicolons. Like right here, we didn't put a semicolon after the script name. And you also will not have semicolons after loops. We'll get to loops in another video. But in most cases, you will have a semicolon after the line of code, so remember that. So like if we try and compile this now, if we go up here and click this compile script icon with the lightning bolt, you can see that it says it compiled without errors. But if we forget that semicolon and we try to compile it, you can see that it gives us an error. So that's very important to remember, and that's an easy thing for beginners to overlook. Alright, so let's go ahead and just run a quick test here. We've got the message there, and I'll just go back over what we did too. So the S stands for string. The colon just has to be there, just to separate the type from the expression. And then we have the expression, which is the string that we're going to print, and that is a door opened. So we'll click this icon here again just to make sure that the script is compiled. And then let's go ahead and link that script to our switch. You can do this just like assigning any action to a switch. So just go to the switch in line mode, right click it, and for action you can either type the number 80, or you can just pull up the list of actions, expand the script category, and then go to script execute. Either one will work. And for the script number, remember that our script is 1 because we didn't have any other scripts. You can either type 1, or you can click this arrow to bring down a drop down menu, and this will have all the scripts that you've successfully compiled. So script 1 will be there. And finally, this is a switch, so we're going to do when player presses use. I don't think we're going to do repeatable because we are going to be opening a door. We really don't need that to be repeated. And this door is also, it's not going to close on us. So for now, we'll just leave that unchecked. But this will happen when the player presses use. And keep in mind too, we've not done any door code yet. The door code is going to come here later. Right now, we're just going to run a test on the print code that we typed. So let's go ahead and run the map real quick and see what happens. Alright, so you can see that the message appeared whenever we flip the switch, and so that part is out of the way. So now we're going to make the door open, and again, this really doesn't need to be commented because it's going to be pretty obvious, but I'm going to comment it anyways. I'm going to say open door, just to make it clear what's happening. Also, another way you can do comments, if you want a comment to span multiple lines, is you can do a / and then an asterisk. And then, from this point onwards, you can keep commenting until you have an asterisk and then another / that signifies the end. So anything between these, anything between the / asterisk and then asterisk / is going to be a comment. So all this stuff here is a comment. You can see it spans multiple lines. That might be useful if you want like a really long comment and you don't want to do like 100 of these / and then have it this way. So I thought I'd let you guys know about that as well. But we will keep the open door comment. And now let's go back to the wiki. And if you're after an ACS function that does something that you would normally do just like with a regular line special, what you will do is instead of going over to ACS functions, these are like specialized functions specifically for ACS. Instead of this, you will go to the one below it that says action specials. And these are like the line actions, like I said, that you would normally have just there by default, like opening doors, activating lifts, changing a sector's brightness, all that stuff. All that's going to be right here, and this is going to give you like the ACS equivalent. So in our case, it's just going to be a door opening. It's not going to be closing again or anything like that. So we'll just make it easy by going here to the categories. You can see it has the different things. We'll click doors, and you can see the different door actions. I think there are some more further down here, but the one that we're after is door_open. And this will tell you how the script is typed and what kind of information that you need to give the script. So let's go back here to our script editor and let's type this line of code. So remember that it's door_open. And notice here too that the script editor will, as you type, it will kind of give you some suggestions for functions that are there. And this is really helpful so you don't have to remember exactly how it's worded or anything like that. So you can either type it or you can just find it here and then double click it and it will fill it for you. So door open, and then just like with the print code above, we're going to have a pair of parentheses, and inside these parentheses we're going to pass in some information about what door we're going to be opening and how it's going to be opening. And you can see these being suggested here for us. The one that's highlighted here in this kind of blue purple color is the one that we're on right now, and then the ones that are in gray are the ones that are going to come afterwards. So right now it says tag. This is going to be the tag of the sector of the door that we're going to want to open. So that'll be 1. If you remember earlier, I went there and I went back and I tagged that sector as 1. And then you're going to do comma, and notice that now speed is the one that's highlighted in that kind of blue color. So this is the speed of the door opening. I think 32 is the regular speed. I can't remember the exact speed, but you can type like any number you want to. I'll just do 32, comma, and now we are on light tag, and I'm not even 100% sure what that does. We can go to the wiki and it'll tell you. So light tag, it says tag of the sector to perform a gradual lighting effect in. So that's for a more advanced type of effect. That could be pretty useful. Right now we're not going to use this though, so what we're going to do is we're just going to type 0. That way it's not referring to any sector. So let's go back and let's type 0. And remember what I said, don't forget the semicolon. Type the semicolon at the end. Click this lightning bolt paper icon to compile it and make sure that it compiles without errors. And now let's run the map and we'll see what happens. So you can see that with that script we pretty much made 2 things happen at once. We printed a message on the screen and we opened a door. And that's one of the things that's really powerful about scripts, is that you can make one script do all kinds of different things. And just to show you guys a quick example of that, if we were to let's take this and just mirror these sectors and flip them around. put them over here. We'll have like pretty much like a second door. Have to fix these textures here real quick. Alright, and then let's give this door right here a tag of 2. So if we test the map now, you can see that only the door over here opened because it has a tag of 1, and this one's a tag of 2. So this script, remember that when we typed door open, we only told it to open the door with a tag of 1. If we wanted it to open 2 doors with like 2 totally separate sector tags, we could just type another door open line. So we could do door open 2, and let's make this door open, but let's make it open real slow. Let's give it like a speed of 5. It's going to be a really slow open. And we'll type 0 again for light tag because we're not going to be using that. And then semicolon. And instead of saying open door for a comment, we'll just say open doors because we're opening multiple doors. So compile it and play, and then when we flip the switch, this door over here will open at like a regular speed, and then this one will just slowly go up. Alright, so that's just an example of the power of scripts, the fact that you can do multiple things. You know, normally with a line action you would be just doing one very specific thing, like opening one specific door, activating one specific lift, spawning one specific monster. With scripts you can do like all kinds of different things with them, and that's really just scratching the surface of how powerful they are. So I hope that helps you guys out with just learning the very basics of scripts. In the next tutorial video I'm going to do, we're going to be covering variables, which allows you to store different types of information, and then conditional statements, which allow you to react to that information in different ways and make different things happen depending on what that information is. So if you guys have any questions about this, just let me know. But thank you for watching, and this is Chubb signing out.